Hello, everyone. Here we are again. Today, I want to talk about something good that happened last night. As I told you yesterday, the protesters, they planned to be 10,000 of them when President Trump spoke in Phoenix. 10,000. And I'm sure everybody, they made it clear they'd be coming ready to do battle. The purpose being, of course, by exaggerating or telling that large number, is just what I told you yesterday. By doing that, they hope that they can stop us, the average person who is not violent, who goes out of our way to avoid conflict. The purpose is to keep us from going to these rallies, shut them down. And they were ready and guaranteed they had their cameras set up so that when President Trump started his speech there in Phoenix, there would be empty seats. And they'd be able to say, Trump's losing it, losing his support, losing his base. And that was the plan. Well, guys, guess what happened? There was no 10,000 protesters showed up. I don't know the count, excuse me, but it would have been in a few hundred, not a few thousand. But the biggest, best news of the evening, did you see that arena? It was packed. And what that tells somebody like me, and, by the way, what it tells somebody like me that works for them, that tells me that the people are rising above the normal and coming out in force. You know, I talked about you got to believe. First thing we got to do is we got to believe. Well, there was a sign last night of people that believed. They came out not knowing what they were going to get into, not knowing if they were going to end up in the hospital, not knowing any of that kind of stuff, but they still came. That's courage. Courage. And it gives me so much inspiration, and I hope it does you, that we can do this. We can do this. Now, our plan, as y'all know, at least as I have told thus far, our plan is to have 1,000 people ready, trained, ready to go when Mueller comes out of his grand jury and tries to present evidence from the grand jury to the House of Representatives to cause the House to hold an impeachment hearing. Forgive me. So we strike then. We let the Republicans know that if they go along with an impeachment hearing in any way, they're going home this election season. We'll vote them out, and we'll make sure they know that and understand it and believe it. And remember, for us to make them believe it, you've got to believe it. You've got to. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the secret to all of this. I don't doubt you've heard the media boast about how low President Trump's approval rating is. He's down to 39%. I don't believe that, but let's say it is true. Even if that's true, come the Republican primary in 2018, if that's true, if you take that 39%, which we will call the Trump base, and you bring it all into play in the election, in the primary election in 2018, we can actually take over the Republican Party. What we're doing to stop the impeachment, I have told you, or at least I hope I've told you, It's a triage movement. It doesn't solve the problems of the world. Do not be deceived. It does not solve the problems of the world. But here's what it does do. It stops it. It stops it for a while. At least President Trump doesn't live under this threat every day of being impeached, which causes a whole lot of difficulty in getting an agenda through. It stops that. But you might say, Larry, where do we go from there? Well, where do we go from there? That's the neat part of our plan. I've told y'all we're going to have a letter. We call it the Contract with America. You're going to go around with this letter to every member of the House and every member of the Senate that are running for re-election or election in 2018. You're going to hand it to them. You're going to say, sign it. Will you sign it? And what the contract simply says is that if, once elected, I fail to vote the way I said I would during the campaign for any reason, that I will immediately resign, and or I will know that there will be a recall election brought on immediately. Now, I didn't word it. That's just a gross example of how the wording is, but the bottom line is we're saying to that congressman, to that senator, and by the way, you can use it for dog catcher or county sheriff, whatever, but what it's saying is when you make a campaign promise that you will vote this way or that, once elected, if you vote the opposite in any way, you'll be removed. Now, we're going to do that early enough because 80% of the Republican congressmen and senators, 80% or better even, that you stick that in front of, they're going to say, well, I'm not going to sign that. Good heavens, I wouldn't sign that. Folks, you will have in your hand, when they refuse to sign it, you will have in your hand the greatest marketing tool of any campaign in history, really. Because you can say to people, why on earth would we vote for anyone that outwardly says we're not, you know, we don't have to vote the way we promise in a campaign? Why would you vote for anybody that tells you, well, whatever I say in the campaign, I don't really have to do? Huh? That's what they're doing now. Campaign promises, you all know, are as worthless as can be. But with this contract, we can do it. By the way, there's some money being raised under LarryNichols Live at AOL.com. Just want to bring this up. That's not me. That money does not come to me. Pass it around, would you? I am, if you want to get help to me, it is Nichols Live at AOL.com. You do not use my first name. So anybody raising money using my first name, Larry Nichols Live at AOL.com, that's wrong. And by the way, also, I am no longer at Ask Larry Nichols or LarryNichols.news. I'm not there. I'm here. LarryNichols.news. For a reason, I'm here. So that we can get the help we need to grow our army and expand. But folks, I want to get back to what I was saying because it's so exciting if you think about it. We will have in our hands that this congressman or that senator, that they will not promise to do what they say in a campaign. And if we do it early enough, we've got time to find someone to run against them in the primary. Now, their rebuttal is going to be, well, if you don't vote for me or if you do this, you're going to end up with a Democrat in office. Well, folks, we're going to say, for the first time, we are going to stand flat-footed and say back to a Republican that uses that threat over us, hey, I'd rather have a Democrat. At least I know where that person stands. At least I know what to expect from a Democrat. I'd much rather have that than a traitor that I think is working for me, that's willing to help our district, willing to help our people, and the whole time you're not. We will find candidates, and this gets us to the punchline of the whole thing. The punchline is, why have they got to get rid of Donald Trump? They're afraid of the 2018 election. They're scared to death of it. And they know if Donald Trump holds his base together and possibly even grows some, they know what I know, what you now know. You're getting the inside scoop, guys. You're getting it like these technicians in Washington, what they're doing. You see, what they see the risk with Donald Trump and this base of voters, this core of voters behind Trump, the very people that showed up in that arena last night that was willing to walk through 10,000 ruffians as protesters, they're afraid that group of people will elect a whole bunch of baby Trumps. Oh, God, the sky would fall. You see, think about that. Would that not be the death of them to sit there and have to wake up and find out the House and the Senate, to a great measure, now have people that represent us, really represent us in office? It would destroy them. It would save our country. That's where we're at. Either we destroy them and save our country, or they destroy us and take over our country and take it away from us. That's where we are. That's why we don't have time to mess around. That's why I beg you all to know I'm not doing programs at LarryNichols.news or Ask Larry Nichols. There's a reason I'm not there. We've got a new site coming up. We've got a lot of things to help us move as fast as we can to get this structure going. Because our role, it spans beyond just the 10 phone calls. We're going to take our country back. We are going to take our country back. Believe it. See it. Visualize it. Visualize the day that we're sitting there, the day after the election. And Lord of mercy, here come about 40 or 50, maybe even more people to Washington, D.C. that are as committed as we are, as President Trump is, into getting our nation back. That's your vision. So, folks, with that, I want to leave you, but I want to remind you once again, if you hear me on Ask Larry Nichols or LarryNichols.news, if you hear me, they're just simply putting up a recording of me. I'm not there. Don't go there. And anybody you can get your hands on that you know of that thinks I'm still there, please get in touch with them. All I'm asking is we need that group of people to stop being deceived and thinking I'm over there, because I'm not. This is where you've got to go. This is where you've got to come. Please. And if you want to help me, I need it today desperately. Because remember, we're sitting here with very little of the audience yet to come here. And I have to have help immediately. So if you can in any way at all help, it's NicholsLive@AOL.com. NicholsLive@AOL.com. Not LarryNichols.Live@AOL.com. That money don't come to me no matter what anybody tries to tell you. My address is posted on this YouTube video site. So with that,